Now to one of sports' most iconic moments and possibly the most expensive piece of memorabilia of all time. Baseball fans know the legend of the called shot. In the 1932 World Series, Babe Ruth famously pointed toward the outfield right before hitting a home run. How and whether it really happened, it is still debated, but its significance of that moment is not. This month, Ruth's jersey could fetch $30 million at auction. That would smash the current record of just over $10 million for Michael Jordan's 1998 Bulls jersey. Omar Villafranca shows us why the bidding could be out of the park.
Known as the Great Bambino, Babe Ruth is baseball's most storied player. He won 7 World Series titles and belted 714 home runs in his career.
There's Babe Ruth just before the third game of the World Series.
None was more famous and disputed than the one he hit in Game 3 of the 1932 World Series against the Chicago Cubs.
Well, I looked down at center field and I pointed. I said, I'm going to hit the next pitch ball right past the flagpole.
Stepping to the plate in the 5th inning, Ruth famously gestured towards the outfield and sent the next pitch over the wall in what has become known as the called shot. A moment so legendary.
Watch this. Taylor is pointing to the bleachers. He's calling his shot.
It's been recreated in several Hollywood movies.
In the realm of sports collectibles, this is the greatest sports collectible of all time.
This jersey he wore during that game will go up for auction later this month. Chris Ivey is director of sports auctions at Heritage, the auction house handling the sale. He says sports memorabilia collectors are once again buzzing about the Babe.
The called shot's something that's still being discussed almost 100 years later. So that blend between fact and fiction for the greatest baseball player of all time is really what brings this piece, into the forefront. Babe Ruth is a big guy.
Ivy says the number 3 jersey, picture match to photos from that day, could go for as much as $30 million, which would make it the most expensive piece of sports memorabilia ever.
The only time it sold publicly was a little bit over 20 years ago, and it sold at that time for $975,000.
What did people think with a $975,000 price tag?
People said that the buyer was nuts for paying $1 million for, an old baseball jersey. But at the end of this auction, he's going to be looking like a very smart man.
Last month, the jersey was returned to Wrigley Field one last time, where fans and players got a chance to see it up close with its unique stitching and stains. The Babe's granddaughter, Linda Ruth Tussetti, says the stains are probably from a ballpark staple.
Do you think that was tobacco juice or mustard from a hot dog?
I would say I probably mustard, because I'm sure he had his hot dogs and he'd have them throughout the game.
More than 90 years later, there's no conclusive evidence on whether Ruth predicted the home run or simply pointed at the Cubs dugout before he hit it.
Come on, Nunez.
But that hasn't stopped kids or collectors from reenacting the play.
I think every kid that's played baseball has, swung the bat, pointed up to the bleachers and said, this next one is going over the wall.
Adding to the legend and the price tag of the called shot. For CBS Mornings, Omar Villafranca in Dallas.
That is such an iconic part of baseball culture.
Yeah,
I'm sure young kids don't even know it's Babe Ruth, but everybody knows. You got a point.
Calling your shot.
Calling your shot.
But $30 million is a lot for what is essentially a piece of laundry on a hanger.
It just goes to show you, though, how much we love sports.
Yeah.
Like, memorabilia is big business.